RaceSpotTV, and we are back for another season here of Monday Night Skippys. Rachel Wyford, Dennis Brostrom, Hugo Louise on the cameras, and we are back at one of the favourite tracks of the series, Summit Point, all the way here in the United States of America in West Virginia. Yeah, I can hear the banjos already. We're going to go to your starting grid for tonight's race. Human tonight is on pole with a 120.904, 3/10 of a second ahead of Anthony Cat in second place. Ben Daniels and Paul Grillo returning in fourth place. Simon Edwards, your last season's winner, in fifth. Keith Sharp in sixth place with Daniel Cook, Jack Hobbs, Lee Anderson, Anthony Jones in 10th. Neil Middleton, Kip Stevens doing a great one there in 12th. Andrew Leach, Ewan Patterson, Matt Cox, Nicholas Vaughan Roberts, Clark Williams, Daniel Hunt, Stefan Nobis, and Daniel Tufts. The rest of those positions up on your screens as we get ready to rock and roll tonight. Where's our 1 second bracket? It's kind of wide here at Summit Point. We really go all the way up to 19th place, so expecting a nice tight race tonight, of course, and the cars on the grid getting ready to rock here, Linus. It's going to be a good start.
I believe it is. We've got 57 cars in the session overall, so it's going to be a pretty packed grid, and hopefully they can get away safely again like they always do.
We certainly hope they can indeed. Well, the engine's rev now on the starting grid, and it's time to start another season here in Monday Night Skippys. Green light, they're away. The big long run here down to turn 1 at Summit Point. Always a tough one. It's a full course today. 18 laps to go, and it's already side by side with Cat and Antonides there for the front. Grillo making a move on Daniels as well as this 2x2 into the corner. 2x2 in fact, as it gets even tighter there. Round goes Antonides. Bad start for your leader from the pole. Antonides has to sit and watch the entire field go past him. What a massive... Oh! And he thought he was safe there off the side as in comes a car from the back of the pack. I think that's the 35 machine from somewhere way down a running order. Wipes out for him, Antonides there, sitting on the apron. He spun out, didn't hit anything. And all of a sudden, Linus, bang, appeared to 35.
He did. That's very unfortunate. And just ahead of these guys as well, Jack Hobbs had an incident with a couple of cars, which has taken them out of the race as well. So that was a very eventful first lap we had right there.
I can't believe that actually happened. Well, yeah, we have, well, not for human tonight, anymore. Anthony Cat with a massive romping lead there, about 2 seconds ahead with Ben Daniels, Paul Grillo, all the way back in the order. We've got Simon Edwards up there in third right now. Keith Sharp as well, running well for this one. The end of lap 1 coming by, and we've had a massive shake-up as things have gone dramatically sideways here to start a new season. Antonides is not going to be too impressed, I don't think, after that one. He's back in pit road getting a tow after his car got mauled by the 35. I don't know who that was. I believe that was Dave Dowson, who was back in 43rd, who basically humped that first corner, and, well, Antonides is thinking, well, I spun out. I can rejoin this race. Everything's okay. Oh, damn it. Yeah. But either way, 1.7 second gap for Cat, which means he's outside the draft range now. Edwards in second, Daniels third. Cook, Sharp, Jones, Leach, Patterson, Middleton, and Williams is your top 10. Grillo started fourth. He's back out in the 11th place. He's a little rusty, fast, but I think rusty, Linus.
Yeah, he is, and right behind him we had Ewan Patterson into turn 1 like you saw on the screen. He just went right off there and he rejoined somewhere in P25, but it's been a good start here around P number 7, 5, 6, 7, 8 that actually had a pretty big race. We see a big crash behind him again. That's Paul Grillo, and I believe that is I'm going to try and figure out who it was that he crashed with, but that was massive.
Oh, that was the 15 car. I believe he came all the way wailing in here from outside of Prairie. He basically missed turn 4 as he went wide on the start onto the grass, just went straight all of a sudden, and went straight across the apex and just wiped out Grillo. Grillo could do nothing there. I don't even know what kind of crash that was, but he didn't even break across the grass and just went slamming into Grillo, taking him completely out of the race. That was huge.
That looked like a lot like the Australian Grand Prix from many years ago.
Yes, I actually remember that exact crash, and you are correct. And I've also seen the same thing happen to be at Supercars, so not always the driver's fault, but, well...
we got another car off in turn 1, and he's around. That is Neil Middleton, and he had contact with a couple more cars, and there's even more cars off. The 98 of Clark Williams went off with Jake Ridlington, I think, but they both rejoined safely.
It seems
a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, Middleton did a
bit of a
dive bomb up the inside there. Oh, he dive bombed, and then the 11 gets cut off and has to brake hard, misses him. All three into the grass. He spins it around and ends up in contact. And oh wow, Clark Williams went sideways there. He braked to try and avoid somebody, had lost the back end, slammed into the other car, involved in an accident. As we're in, I think this is Wacky Races, Monday Night Skippys edition. This is probably the derpiest race I've ever seen. Have they had a week off or a year?
Well, it might be the new tyre model. I don't know.
It could well be, actually. There is a new tyre model for the cars in our race, and Skippy has it. Could be their first time driving them, but you'd think they'd have some practice this week because, yeah, this is a little bit dramatic as our leader, Anthony Cat, now coming up to lap. Unfortunately, the pole sitter Fahim Antonides there. Fahim gets well out of the way. We've lost Hobbs and Grillo. They've officially retired those cars. Gap is 1.9 to Ben Daniels in second place as now Simon Edwards third, Cook, Keith Sharp, Leach, Roberts, Ridlington, Nobis and Taylor. Darrell Taylor back there, last car in the top 10 as the dramatic racing continues. Oh, look here at Jake Ridlington, Nicholas Vaughan Roberts now racing for 7th and 8th side by side here, heading into turn 3. Corner goes there to Ridlington. Gets the position there over Vaughan Roberts. Here comes Taylor as well to take a slice of this, and they'll have to be careful now through 4. Down into turn 5, the wagon wheel. A big, slow speed, the slowest corner on the track here. This 180-degree left-hander. Round they'll come, and into the tight, kind of twisty S section here. And Ridlington kept that position secure. And so did Vaughan Roberts. Darrell Taylor stays back in position. But it's a great racing going on from some of these guys we're seeing. Of course, the ones that aren't upside down in a tree, but otherwise, the racing's phenomenal. The pack is close.
Yeah, it's a really long train here from the cars we're just watching. 7th, 8th place all the way back to almost P20. So got some really nice battles shaping up there. And further up the front, there's not much happening. Daniels is going back on Edwards here for second place, coming down into turn 1. But just like the last lap, he's going to clear him before the braking zone. So they're pretty much just going to keep swapping positions back and forth as Cook is also caught up to that group. Behind him is Sharp in 5th, all by himself, and 5 seconds back is Leach and Vaughan Roberts for 6th and 7th again.
Well, it certainly opens up our championship off the first race when we've got this much variety happening. We can't really count this as a race that will give us an indication of how people are going to be performing this season, of course. And Daniels, Cook and Edwards there in that group, they're fighting pretty hard. The gap of 2.1 seconds, though, to Cat is interesting, and especially now we've got a lap car who is pole fast. So yeah, that car there of Fahim Antonides that's sticking with your leader, who gave him the line because it was the leader's line, but is holding with the leader ahead of everybody else. So that's going to be interesting because now your leader has a car to draft with at a 2-second gap. So not only does he have a gap, but he's going to increase it. This has to be great for Anthony Cat.
Yeah, it certainly does, and well, you have to think that maybe Antonides doesn't see Anthony Cat as a championship contender, and that's why he pulls him ahead of Simon Edwards, possibly, I don't know. But Cat certainly is fast. If he just shows up for every race, he could very well be there at the end.
Certainly does, of course, and it's definitely an exciting one to see in terms of some of the racing we've got from these boys. It's almost go-kartish at times for these cars. They've got very nimble handling, and it's gotten better since the new tyre build, of course. They're a little bit more, light-footed is the word I'd look for, rather than being the very, very momentum-based cars that were very sensitive in the corner, that had to take a certain line, and that was about it. You could deal with it. Now they feel like they can attack more, and I think the guys are going to have to try and work on that and test the limits of where they can place this vehicle, because now it's become something they can really battle with. And that opens up the racing possibilities for some real excitement, but it does mean they have to be more careful because they're more dexterous.
It does, and at the same time, like we saw today, it creates some more weird passing opportunities which people will just dive straight for and cause some more crashes. So hopefully that just doesn't keep on going throughout the rest of the season.
Certainly does. Well, as this one goes forwards, we're on lap 6 already. This one's flying past. Anthony Cat up front with his tow buddy of Antonides. Good to see at the line what their time differences are. Looks like it's widened up here as Antonides is going to try and make a pass here on your leader. Still 2.4 seconds now to that lead group, and Antonides gets ahead of him. So they are going to be doing the draft pull. Okay, so Antonides is actually going to be pulling him with him. or at least passing him back to at least stay on the lead lap, technically, which is, of course, something he'd like to do. Actually, yes, he will be scored on the lead lap now. He was scored a lap down last time round, but is now officially back on the lead lap. Not that it will help a huge amount, but it's more the bragging rights. Ben Daniels and Edwards there. Still going to be Daniels ahead of Edwards with Cook in the 4th spot. Sharp is looking very quiet and lonely on his own, as we've got Vaughan Roberts and Leach there running in the 6th and 7th spots. Nobis has gotten past Ridlington. Taylor still sitting back in 10th place. He seemed pretty happy just to hang out and wait. He's playing the Clark Williams role here in this.
He is, and he's not made much noise of himself at all in this race, even though he's gone from 25th up to 10th, but that is much thanks to all the carnage that happened at the beginning, and he just stayed out of it. So 15 positions up in the first 5 or 6 laps from him, so he'll be looking to gain some more spots towards the end of this, I would guess. Behind we got Tufts and Keeble having a little battle ahead of this massive train of cars, fighting for P11 at the moment. But there might not be too much going on here at the moment. For now, actually, as they will probably just draft each other back and forth down the straightaway.
Yeah, they certainly are. They're going to try and do that themselves. As we look a bit further forwards here at Leach and the car there of Vaughan Roberts. The Yorkshire Vaughan Roberts get past very easily there into turn 1. The big drafting passing spot there. Lap 8 for your leaders now, as the gap widening ever more. 2.3 now Daniels to Cat. Although it seems as though Antonides has stayed ahead this time by. In fact, he's almost pulling the gap. So more Antonides' statement that if I had not been taken out of this race, or I'd not spun it and then gotten taken out, I probably would have won this one.
Well, he would have been a contender, but he was a little bit too hot on it at the start there and couldn't really hold it. So actually, where is Antonides now? Did he just pull over?
Video leader. I think he just did. I'm not sure.
He just disappeared. Yes, he did.
No, he's still there. He's still ahead of the lead. Yes, he pulled over. Okay. So I think he proved his point that he was faster than the leader, and he just pulled over to let the racing continue unimpeded, I believe.
Oh well.
Interesting strategy, but he's letting everyone pass now, so not sure what he's planning. He might be coming onto pit road. He's done a couple of laps, proved his point that he was faster than the leader, and he's retiring that car. So Antonides proving his point for the season that he has the speed, but I think at this point realising there's no point finishing because he's after the points and going to get in them. So unfortunate for him to see that result, but it's definitely looking to see him very fast again this season. I've got to say Cat and Cook are ones I'm looking forward to seeing this season. They've both had very fast runs today. And Paul Grillo, if he actually makes a regular return, he could be a threat in this.
Yeah, he could. He's not really... well, I mean, if he can just stay out of trouble, which he didn't do today, he could definitely be a threat. Just needs to be very consistent and not have one more bad race than the rest of the season, because obviously he's already got a drop week and that is not going to help. But he is fast when it goes his way.
Absolutely is here as the running order as it stands. Anthony Catt with 2.8 seconds over Ben Daniels in second. Simon Edwards even third place there with Daniel Cook, Keith Sharp, Nicholas Vaughan Roberts, Andrew Leach, Stefan Nobis, Jake Ridlington, and Darrell Taylor, 10th place, who hasn't moved yet in this one. Started 25th though, so he's come flying forwards, Linus. In fact, we've got two big movers in that front pack. Ridlington 21st to 9th, and 25th to 10th is Taylor there. And behind him, Keeble, 22nd to 11th, and 20th to 12th, so everyone's been shuffling forwards. Tom Barry, 24th to 13th. I guess that maybe 10th to, I don't know, 19th position are all the ones that took themselves out or got taken out during this race. In fact, I look at all the starting positions of the cars that are lapped down or retired. Quite a number of them were in that bracket.
Yeah, they were. It was really, really close, and well, if that's how it's going to be the rest of the season, it's going to be very, very important to get a good lap in and get that every single 10th that you can.
Oh, it absolutely is, and it's something I look forward to seeing what these guys could do with, but we have to wait and see here exactly how this will play forwards, because as it stands, we've got a good fight here with Tom Barry, actually, in this group. Just behind him, we've got Tufts, Ridley, Morris, Dunning, and Cox in that little chain of cars. Running here in the mid-pack, this is about 10th to 15th place. Looking here at Daniel Tufts in the middle of this scrap. Just ahead of them there, Barry and Keeble. racing hard at this point in time. Lap 10 we're on at the moment as they come through the S's. It's not a really fun track to drive, Linus. I don't know how much experience you've got here around Summit Point, but as tracks go, this one feels tight, it feels old school. It feels like Formula 1 from the 1960s to an extent, because you've got the trees that close to the track, and some places there are no barriers. It feels very organic.
Yeah, it does, and in some places if you go off the wrong way you'll basically just fly over banking it into the trees, so you'll it's very, very old school and not very high end on the safety bit either, so it's a fun track to race, but if you get it wrong it will go really, really wrong. As we see a pass here for P number 11, that is Tom Barry being passed by the 76 of Keeble, and also Tom Barry sneaking through, so down to 13th place for Barry. That was Keeble and Ridley coming through, sorry. Get all the numbers mixed up.
Yes, certainly does. We've got a bit of a fracas going on down here. Daniel Tuff's leading 2 cars behind him. That's Ridley and Morris looking for an opportunity here back in through turn 4 to turn 5, the wagon wheel. Can he hold on with this one? Can he make something happen? Not going to have a chance to yet. That train's still continuing. The gap between Cat and Daniel's not opening there, Linus, so we're on to lap 12 this time. Buyers will come through. That gap is just beyond the draft reach, and I think he's got it, even though Daniels, Edwards and Cook are racing pretty, should we say, politely together. They're staying in line and just doing this for the draft. They can't catch him. I'm genuinely impressed. The 3 cars working together can't catch the leader.
Yeah, he's been having some help from some laps cars with the draft down the straightaways. They caught him 2 tenths that lap, but it's definitely not enough with only 7 laps to go to race, unless something happens. So it looks like Cat has got this, but they have to start battling soon as well, and that's just going to slow them down again. So I think all the lap cars, especially Fahim, helped Cat in this race today.
Certainly did indeed. As well, we'll see now what these guys will pull out of the bag in the remaining laps we have tonight. 6 more in the book for your leaders on lap 12 here. Anthony Cat leads the way ahead of podium spot potentials Edwards and Daniels, depending on what happens today. How many we've got in the lead lap still? We have 42. Field is still doing very well. Crash for the 34 car. We'll take a quick look at that one, Linus. Can you tell us what happened?
Yes, I can. That is Daniel Tubbs, who was in that big group of 6-7 cars, and as you can see on your screen, they're coming down the hill. And well, he made contact with the car right next to him, which was
Keeble, yeah.
probably Keeble. Yeah, just drifted out a little bit, contact between the wheels, and he just got sent into the grass.
Looks like he turned in way too early.
It's a 50-50 situation, kind of hard to tell from that point of view, but it's a sad ending for him anyway, because he had a pretty good race running there in the top 15. He's now dropped back all the way outside the top 25, so that is not going to be, he's not going to be happy about that, but it's a learning process. And I mean, he could have turned in later, the car on the inside could have been a little bit further to the inside, so it's kind of 50-50.
Certainly works there, of course, as lap 13 now in the books. No real change in this running order, but we are going to take a quick look at what we've seen so far in terms of retirees. Lead lap cars a moment as we're looking at things as they play. 42 cars out of 58 we've got on the record, so a good performance so far. I believe about 2, 3, 4 of those cars are still running after retirees. Most of them retired though from the event, but we've seen a definite interesting progression here in terms of driver speed. The likes of Cat, Edwards, very, very fast. And of course, last season's winner, Edwards, Cat could be a real competitor here. He's got a great amount of speed. It could just be this track, of course, but it's looking like it's a good opportunity for him to really stamp his authority on the season from the first race. As the laps start to wind down now. Keith Sharp, it's great seeing him back in the series, of course, and running towards the front, so it could be a bit of a time for the old guard to start returning. Perhaps the changes to the car have brought it back into the passion, shall we say, of those old guard, the likes of Keith Sharp, the likes of Paul Grillo.
Yeah, perhaps we'll have to see it. Like you said, it's only 1 race so far in the season. When we get 4, 5, 6 races in, halfway we'll know for sure who's got speed, and if it's just a one-time thing, or if he's actually back to make a statement and be constantly in the top 5 here. And it's going to be fun to see what Sharp can do. Possibly even pull out a win or 2.
We'll have to see exactly what will happen with that, but it'll be interesting to see if we can do that in the season we have ahead of us. And there's some great new tracks coming, of course, on that season, Linus, and that's something I'm looking forward to seeing as we go forwards with the championship. And every one, there seems to be something that comes up with Monday Night Skippys that really makes this exciting, and I absolutely love to see it.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting season, especially if all these top guys can just show up every single race and just race it out for the championship, so we don't have drop weeks and people being at the top but not racing every race. Obviously that is kind of taking away the fun at the top, but that's always going to happen, so nothing to worry too much about, as the gap between Edwards and Cat came down another 2/10. It's now 1.8, but it's only 4 laps to go, so I don't think it's going to be enough unless they can just get within that little drafting range of Cat and just suck right up to him on the last lap. I doubt that will be enough though, so we'll have to see.
We certainly will, of course. The schedule for this season as it will come today, of course. Summit Point, our first one. We head to Sebring Club next week. We have Imola Grand Prix, Road America coming up, a fantastic track for this car. Interlagos, always an exciting race. Twin Ring Motegi provides excitement with Panorama Bathurst. Suzuka Grand Prix, Charlotte's new road courses, of course, coming into play later in the season for round 9. Watkins Boot, Barber again. And we finish up the season with Monza, which will be a very, very fast race. But I'm honestly looking forward to the Charlotte's new road courses, Suzuka being a fantastic one, Road America, and Sebring.
What date is Charlotte?
Charlotte will be coming up on May 7th.
Well, I will be here for that, so that's going to be interesting.
There you go. Well, Linus will be here for that, as we're looking now. Simon Edwards making a move here on Ben Daniels. Getting himself up to second place here as the laps really wind down. There'll be 2 to go after this lap. We're really at the end now, and it looks as though the gap has come down a bit here. 1.8 seconds as they're drafting close to Cat, but it's not enough. They're not going to make up 1.8 seconds now in the final lap of this thing, so I think they're really fighting for second place here. This is their race.
Yeah, they actually lost the 10th on that lap to Anthony Cat, so they've just started racing each other now. But all they can really do by the looks of it is draft past each other on the straightaway. So Daniel Cook there sitting in the 4th position, probably just waiting for a mistake or a little opening to get a chance to do something, as he's in the Clark Williams position of this little group. He's not done anything, I think, in the last 10 or so laps, so he's just waiting either for the last lap or for a mistake. But here he actually gets really, really close to Daniels. He might be able to get a run up the hill. He gets a little bit bad exit though, so it looks like he will have to stay behind for now, as Daniels comes and makes a move on Edwards. Actually, no, he backs it. Goes back in the line. Not a sensible spot. No, not a great spot to make a pass there, but he has the draft now and should have an opportunity to make a move here. On the run down to turn 1, he will pull out to go for that move, pulls along the inside. So should have the inside for the corner. Lap car going to make things interesting. 3 wide there briefly. Gets through with no real drama there, moving up to the 2nd spot here on lap 17. But a chance, of course, for Edwards to come back next time by and hold that for one final lap. So, I mean, the pass happens way after the start-finish line, Linus. It takes you more than that. So he's really done himself a disservice by passing now, because this gives the next full lap by to Edwards, and he won't have time to pass Edwards on the final lap. So that could have just been Ben Daniels' undoing. Yeah, we'll have to see here, but don't count out Cook, because you could see it really looked like he lifted out as soon as he caught up to the back of Edwards there to not get involved. So he might be planning on making this 3 wide and being 2nd place coming into that first corner. So this could go either way, because he is not going to just sit back there and watch these guys race it out for podium positions.
Absolutely. Well, as it goes onwards now, heading towards the final lap of the race here. Feels like it's flown by today. A very fast race here. Anthony Cat is looking unchallengeable here at Monday. I can English, I promise. Round 1 of Monday Night Skippys here, as here goes Edwards with a big early jump. Takes the outside though. Doesn't get given the inside line by Daniels, but doesn't need it. Big dive though by Daniels to hold on to it. Can he go around the outside? Can he hold that outside is the important part. Looks like he actually has held it, Linus. That's important for him. Simon Edwards holding the outside line there. Still has an overlap. Will have the inside line now into turn 3.
He did, and Cook, he just can't find the gap in between these two cars anywhere. He's looking left, right and centre, but he can't find anything. They're still side by side up the hill. Edwards going to have the inside for the next corner as they come in towards the next braking zone.
Big dive!
Oh, that's a late brake, and here comes Cook.
That was a huge dive by Edwards. He really threw caution to the wind there to get that position locked in, and he now has it. This looks like second place here for Simon Edwards. Almost guaranteed in the bag, should nothing crazy happen, but that was a big Hail Mary into the wagon wheel.
It really was, and I mean, he had to do that because Cook was right there as well. One little mistake and Cook would have passed him too, so he really threw it all on the table and he made it work. And here comes Daniels. He's actually just going to pull to make sure he has the inside for the last corner. He's going to move back in line again, and he's not going to be able to do
pass, I don't think.
anything. Here comes Anthony Cat, and he's going to win the season opener on Monday Night Skippys ahead of Edwards, Daniels and Cook. Sharp, way behind him, 5th.
Very far behind, but a phenomenal race we just saw at the end there. The racing was absolutely cracking from those guys as Cat wins the first round of the season. Congratulations to him and to the others, of course. There, Edwards and Daniels joining him on the podium. But wow, that was exciting towards the end there, Linus. I've got to say, it was a little bit derpy at the start, but we really got some fantastic racing. Now there's a big knot of cars coming through the final corner here. Your mid-20s pack, who stood very close together here. No changes in position though for all of them, as much as it looks very busy. Everyone jets across the line. Let's go through your finishing results. Anthony Cat comes home with the victory, as mentioned, with Edwards and Daniels on the podium in second and third. Daniel Cook with Keith Sharp, Stefan Nobis, Andrew Lee, and Nicholas Vaughan Roberts in 8th place. Jake Riddington and Matt Cox. Paul Ridley, Tom Barry, Christopher Keeble with Chris Morris and Dave Kirkman in 15th, with Tony Stack, Daniel Hunt, Simon Maltby, Neil A. Jackson in 19th, and Michael J. Taylor in 20th. Rest of the results for you on your screens. We are going to be having a quick look back at what we saw from this one, but Linus, it's a tough track for racing, but there's a hugely busy season coming up for these guys.
It is, and it's well, the best possible start for Cat, possibly Edwards and Daniel as well. So it's a tough start for Fahim, so he's really going to have his work cut out for him. He can't afford another bad race. So it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a fun one. We got some fun tracks, like you said earlier, and well, I think you're not going to be disappointed if you keep watching these races, that's for sure.
We never are with Monday Night Skippys. Always exciting here on Monday nights as we see if we're going to get anybody come on for an interview. Of course, the best part of Monday Night Skippys is the post-race show, and normally our guessing game as to who will bother to deign us with their pleasure. Or pleasure, no, English, bad form of words. Who will deign us worthy to give us their time? That's the safer version, because I was going to say something incredibly dodgy, which I'm going to try and avoid, but turns out filling is unnecessary, as it seems nobody actually wants to come for one. So we're going to wrap things. We will see you all same time next week. Join us then. Good night.